Hi, I'm Jen, and together with my fiance Elliot, we traveled around the world for a whole year. We left in September of 2019 and came back to the United States in August of 2020 due to the global pandemic, but during that time we decided to document our travels and record them on videos to share with our friends and family back home. Our videos quickly transitioned into travel vlogs, which then ended up on YouTube to share with you. We didn't want to make a huge investment into purchasing really expensive cameras, really expensive tripods, filters, and stuff like that. We decided to go with as much gear as we possibly could that we already had to reduce our costs and produce videos. In this video, I'm going to share with you our 7 best pieces of gear for travel vlogging. First up, my 2014 MacBook Pro. I had this MacBook Pro in college and it still ran, so I took it along and edited all of our videos on it. I will say though, by the end of it, whenever I was trying to improve my editing and get into more details and effects in our videos, it did struggle a little bit, but it costed me $0 because I already had this laptop. In keeping with the theme of gear that we already had, I just wanted to share with you that this laptop's charger at the end of our travel year was being held together by Band-Aids. Band-Aids. That's because it was so worn and so loved and so valuable that one, I couldn't get a new charger, and then two, I just wanted to use what I already had and not spend any more money. So very, very helpful. Second piece of travel vlogging gear was our camera. We bought the Canon G7X and took it around the world with us. It went to Machu Picchu, the Outback in Australia, up mountains in New Zealand, and it went through Holi in India. So this camera really went through so much just love, and I don't know, this camera went through everything. It was great because it had a flip up screen, so that way we could see ourselves and make sure that we were in focus, or like that we were in the shot. And it was also nice and compact, so it meant that I could easily put it in my purse, or we could put it in a small pocket of our backpacks. It was incredible. Great purchase, and I think it was just $500. So although it's not the cheapest thing in the world, it was a $500 camera that did a really, really spectacular job. Some of the negatives about this camera was that we got the G7X Mark II, which in retrospect, we wish we had gotten the Mark III, which had been released to the market maybe a month or two before we bought this camera. And we made a really silly mistake in buying the older generation instead of the newer generation to save a bit of money, but we'd wish we went for the Mark III. The Mark III had a port that allowed you to put a microphone on, which gave you better sound, and we struggled with the sound quality of this camera, specifically in windy environments. And then this camera also is a bit challenging with the autofocus at times because there was dust and debris that got into the lens. But overall, we loved this camera and still use this camera today. We love it. Our third piece of travel vlogging gear was our Gobi Gorilla Pod. So this Gorilla Pod has kind of went through a lot with us. It does not look like what it started out as when we left the United States. But yeah, it was a great tripod. It was small enough that it fits in our backpacks. It's really, really lightweight, but it's the first generation of the Gorilla Pods, and I got it probably back in maybe 2016 or I got it back in 2017, I think. So it was one of the original Joby GorillaPods, but it was great. It did a really good job, and it allowed us to hold the camera out so we could easily vlog, but it also allowed us to make a tripod either on the streets, on the sidewalk, on the side of a mountain, wherever, attach it to a tree, attach it to a handrail, and get time lapses. So we really, really liked it. Funny story, we ended up losing one of the legs when we were in a train station in India, and so therefore we had to rearrange the legs to better balance the tripod. But yeah, it's kind of sad and pathetic now, but it was well loved, very well loved. Our fourth piece of travel vlogging gear was a GoPro. Now, we had a GoPro Hero 4 before we left on our travels. We bought this back in 2016. It's a Hero 4, so I think at the time they had a Hero 7 or maybe the 8 out. And we stuck with our Hero 4. We figured it'll be good enough. We were able to save money because we already had it, so we did not need to purchase extra gear. It was really, really great because the batteries still worked. We had 2 batteries for the GoPro, and the case still worked. It wasn't damaged or anything. We were able to use our GoPro in the Galapagos underwater, at Machu Picchu, climbing up the mountains, or whenever we were in India playing Holi. So the GoPro was a huge success for us. So, little fun fact about this GoPro is that Elliot used it to record his proposal to me when we were in Iceland and we got engaged. So, has some good memories. Our fifth piece of travel vlogging gear is our phone. We already had the iPhone 10 prior to our trip, so we were able to use it, and it was really great because we were able to whip out the camera in places that we didn't want to take the G7X out and have the Joby GorillaPod vlogging. So we're able to quickly use our cameras, snap a few pictures, get a few clips, and it was amazing. One of the downsides to using our phones to shoot footage and get shots was that it produced a file type that was different than the G7X. So because we had these 2 file types, I had to do a bit more editing in post to make the colors look a bit more cohesive. Overall, it was still really nice because the phone was something that I was still going to have and use regardless. So I was just able to take advantage of the tools that we already had. After traveling around South America for 3 months, we realized that we could use a few more pieces of gear that would help elevate our videos to where we wanted them without spending too much extra money. So our 6th piece of travel vlogging gear is the DJI Osmo. The DJI Osmo is a stabilizer for phones. It allows you to hook in your phone, and then you're able to quickly get shots that are smoother and stabilized so that way the footage isn't as shaky. We found this really helpful because we were vlogging with our phones and we didn't want to purchase an extra camera, so we found it really helpful. Another benefit to this DJI Osmo was that it came with a tripod, so we're also able to use it as a tripod for our cameras. So we found it incredibly helpful. So the last and final piece of equipment that we used while we were traveling around the world and documenting our trip was a drone. We bought the DJI Maverick Mini when we were at our 3-month mark about to go into New Zealand. And this was a critical point for us because, like our last piece of travel vlogging gear that I mentioned, this one was the same, where we thought drone shots could really help us elevate and tell a better story as to where we are and give us better context to our viewers. So we bought this drone because it was lightweight, which didn't add a lot of weight to our already heavy suitcases, and it was the least expensive drone on the market for the best quality. We bought this and we're absolutely thrilled with what it did for our videos. So the last little thing is that we put this piece of tape over Elliot's phone number, but when we were flying our drone abroad, we realized that we could easily lose our drone and we didn't want that to happen. So we put Elliot's phone number here in case someone potentially found it. maybe a good Samaritan would be able to return it to us. So that's it. Those are the 7 pieces of travel vlogging gear that we used in this past year that we really used quite heavily and really loved using. We hope you found this video helpful. Leave us a comment below if you have any suggestions for us for gear that we should add to our camera bag in upcoming travels. If you're interested in learning how our vlogging gear is changing for future travels, please let us know. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. I'm gonna do this one, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this. Yeah, okay. Whoa.
That bird literally just hit this window. Wow. Sorry, bird.
Hello.